how you feel about your week. Last year, I actually had more hours than I have this year, but I worked Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So I didn't have any classes on Wednesday or Friday. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. Like having that break in the middle of the week, and then Friday having like a day to catch up and get all the little stuff done, the behind the scenes stuff, and then end with this. But this year, even though I'm working fewer hours and I don't have any afternoons, I'm working every single morning. I'm working 5 days, and it's really different. It's much more stressful not having that chunk, that break of time. But yeah, Mondays off would be amazing.
What are the rest of your schedules? Does anybody else have like that chunk of time where you work Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have a block of time off? Or do you work like Becca does, go in every day? Carissa, yeah.
Every day, every morning, 8:30 every morning. Well, not Wednesdays. Wednesdays a little later, but
Our elementary schools moved their times up and went to a split busing system. So they do early and then late. They do 2 routes. So right now we start at 7:30. I come in just early like that, just so that I can get ahead of it. My classes don't start till 8:30, and Wednesdays I don't have classes. I do early childhood screening all day long, which is totally fine. It's totally fine. I love the predictability of early childhood screenings. So I just like come in and see new kids every 45 minutes or so, and boom, boom, boom. It's just kind of a nice change in the middle of the week. And then Fridays, I don't have an afternoon class. So Fridays, I usually am doing this get ready for the next week, which is a nice schedule. I'm thankful for it.
Anyone else? How about location? Do you all have one location? I know in some districts there are multiple locations and people can, there was an educator in St. Paul, I know, who like went to like 5 or 6 different places every week and to catch all the different Spanish speaking classes. So Kelly's in the same location. How about the rest of you? Are you all in the same place? Do you go to work in the same place each time? 2 locations, Becca. 2, 3, Sarah.
So all my ECFEs in one building, and then I also support 4 classes across 2 buildings of preschool at a much lighter touch, but that's my Thursday. So I'm kind of itinerant on Thursdays.
Okay. Becca, you're in 2 locations, you said? Okay.
I'm usually in 2 locations, but the last couple of years they've had me just in one, which has been nice to just be in one, but that's not typical. It's usually more than one from all of my experiences.
And is that something you can request, or it's something that over time you develop seniority or whatever, and it's just like, this is the one location I want to be in? Or how does that work in your districts in terms of when and where you work?
I feel like it depends upon the local district, where they have the classes, how many classes. If they're trying to fill your schedule, so they want you to try to be full-time, then they'll move you, put you where the classes are. I think that those are some of the factors I've experienced. Yeah, evening classes, where are your evening classes? Sometimes evening classes end up going into the different school buildings, to get locations, things like that will make a difference. Those are my experiences, at least with the districts I've worked in.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any say in where I work or when. I take what there is. But my boss is hoping to move all of ECFE. We have 2 early childhood centers, and she's hoping to move all of ECFE into one of them. So it's possible that next year that we would have all of our classes in one building, which is kind of nice, but we'll it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how it affects families across the district. 'Cause we have a pretty large area, and it would put only being in one building, one location is kind of off to the west side of the district. So if that will turn people off of not being able to go closer to home, not having choices of two locations. I'm not sure how that will affect it.
I feel like there's there's in the past, I'm the only one here now, but in the past when we had other or several parent ed and a couple who maybe only taught 2 or 3 classes and had been here for a long time, I think they were kind of saying, I only want to teach at one building, but they weren't working a ton of hours. And I didn't have the seniority then and wanted the more hours. So I just took whatever, wherever they gave me at that point. So, but I think in the past there has been a seniority, very unofficial and informal, but a seniority element to it.
I think there was a time when they were moving people around a lot here. We have 2 sites, one in Cambridge, one in Isanti. And there was a time when we were just kind of going wherever, and there was an intentional move towards having teams and co-teaching and teaming. And that put a little bit more of an intentionality around having people in one spot. The challenge is then you have teams in one spot and the other teams in another spot, and you don't stay connected across your staff. But it's really nice. It saved them travel, traveling between. If you had 2 classes in a day, then that's miles you can claim and that sort of thing. So there's an expense there. I think team-wise, it is really nice to have one group, but it doesn't work for every single class, because we only have so many afternoon classes, and so people jump in the afternoons a little bit more. Mornings are settled, but yeah. So sometimes teams co-teaching can be influencing, I think, at least some places. And I would be interested to know what you guys all experience too.
I think the teams piece is an interesting part of it. Like, we have a small staff, and like, for instance, I never, ever see our other parent educator because we have 2 sites. So if I'm teaching in one, she's teaching in the other, just by necessity. So it'll be interesting if next year it does work out that we have a few more classroom spots and another parent ed room in the one center, to be able to have someone right there and be able to see my colleagues more. But at the same time, we're going to feel really disconnected from the rest of the early childhood programming, from screening, from preschool and pre-K. We're already this like afterthought side thing that half of the teachers don't really even know what ECFE is. It feels like they don't know us. And it's going to be even more so that we're this separate thing if we're not in like the main building.
Rebecca, you guys can't do your PLC together? Like, I feel like when there's.
We will still have some staff development stuff together.
Okay.
So we'll still have some.
It'd be really nice if you could have PLC together. Like, if I had another parent educator in a district in another location, I would be fighting hard to go spend time with them.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that, Ellen, because I think that's something I need to do. Ask for that.
Well, in a lot of districts, like, if you say you need something for POC, they will make it happen. Like, they will do it. Like, they're like, okay, well, we have to provide this for you. So,
Ellen, can you give an example?
so let's see. I will share an example. A couple years ago, shut up, cat. Sorry, I have a cat who just will not stop bothering me. We had asked if we could have a Facebook page. And we kept getting told, no Facebook. We don't, blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember, this was 7 years ago. I don't remember what their reasoning was for not letting us have a Facebook page. Well, guess who made it their Smarkle?
Oh.
So we created a SMART goal based on engaging families and getting information, because there was a Facebook group for community ed, but we wanted a separate one for ECFE. And they were like, nope, nope, nope. But we were like, but listen, parents of little kids don't want to hear about chess club for high school, and they're not interested in horseback riding. And so our goal was to get 100 likes and to follow the diagnostics by a certain date. And guess who had to let us have a Facebook page? So that's a kind of an extreme. I was going to go look and see how many people like our Facebook page now. It's been up for quite some time, but I feel like, and I know other groups too, like, what do you need to make this happen? And like, I know, in FIED, the FIED PLC, like they bought pedometers or something for the kids in their classes to do, I don't know. So it's kind of a sneaky way to get what you want.
So in our district, we have, I think 5 or 6 parent eds. If you count Shelley Doran, who works as a parent ed, just very part-time, I think it's 6. And so we did, first of all, we have like roll meetings and PLCs. So the like roll meetings is all the parent eds, which is a breath of fresh air. And PLCs are like, you can pick, like you were saying, Ellen, you get to craft your own adventure. And that's with some of my parent ed colleagues, but not all of them. Some of them are doing different things. As you were talking, I was thinking about a really cool back to school activity that we did, which was to travel to the different, we have 2 sites and we have like 5 parent ed spaces. So all together as a group of parent eds, those 6 of us went to each of the parent ed rooms. So the 1 in the other building and then the 4 in our big building, and sat in each room and taught, like the person who kind of owned that space got to talk about like why they set it up the way they did, what kind of stuff they had, why, what they were planning, what they'd always dreamed of doing, and it was like a traveling like roll meeting, in addition to a really interesting look at things like, well, where'd you get that pamphlet holder? Like, we don't have that in our space, like that kind of stuff. So it yielded a great list of like things to ask for, ideas to try, a lot of just great cross-pollination. That was probably, I'm going to say, one of the top 3, if not the best uses of time in back to school week that wasn't explicitly like prep and headspace classroom setup kind of stuff, right? Curriculum building and planning. And so I highly recommend doing that if you're lucky enough to have that sort of scope of program. Now, the thing I haven't done in 196 is visited all of the preschool spaces. There are 16 elementary schools that have preschools. And I still have no idea what's going on in family school or ABE, really. Like, I just haven't even dipped my toe in that. So that would be a neat like extension of that for me, for my understanding of what's going on. But it was really, really great. I hope we do it again next year.
Because our district is so small and everybody's sharing space, with just having 2 sites, that is not a thing. But it made me think, I wish I could see in other districts. Do you know what I mean? Like, go visit, what are other parent ed rooms looking like, or other ECFE early childhood classrooms looking like? What do they have that's really working versus, we just have this because we've always had it and take it or leave it. Like, to get not just to see spaces, but to talk to the people who use the spaces and see what they love. That would be so amazing, because a lot of times I feel like we're reinventing the wheel or starting from scratch, trying to figure out what's helpful and how to get it and what things work and don't. That would be super neat.
I think this is a Menafee thing. Like, we could even do it like a virtual tour with pictures and commentary. Because Ellen, I remember seeing a picture of your room. You shared it at one point. I think it was Friends of Family Ed. And I was like, now that is not like any parent ed space I've ever seen. And you shared more about it, but I think there's a lot to the space and the crafting of the space. So that maybe could be an idea.
And I think it's so different because in my old district, it was our space, but it was also conference room space. And then in my old space in Northfield, I couldn't do anything in there. I couldn't leave my stuff in there because it kept getting used, it kept getting moved. But now I have dedicated space. It is mine. People use it, but nothing disappears because it's kind of, and it's tucked on its own corner. But some people can't do anything with their spaces because it's shared space. But just getting ideas of things you can put up to make it cozy, you know, Becca, I know you've got that issue. You're like, it's not mine. I can't do anything with it. You know, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to be like, okay, if you have your own space, what do you do with it? If you share a space, how do you make it comfortable? It's hard. And I've been in all of those situations.
Because even with shared space, then you still need to come up with ideas. What is this space going to look and feel like in a way that works for multiple groups to use? Like it's a different challenge, but it's still something that has to happen. So yeah, I think it would be an amazing Manafi thing to do tours of spaces and talking about what people like and don't like in their spaces. I think that would be super helpful. Especially, I think it would be super helpful for administrators to see too. I don't know, but like to see that things aren't just the way they've always been in your district. Like I feel like so many people have only ever worked in their district, and specifically talking about administration. And so they maybe don't see as much of things looking different in other places. So opening ideas for each level of ECFE would be really helpful, I think.
Well, and fun fact, the woman who hired me, the coordinator who hired me in Faribault 11 years ago, has the 4 grandchildren, all 4 of which who come to ECFE in my district now. This is my last district. She came to class on Wednesday with her daughter. And we've known, like, I've known this mom. I was like, oh, she's like, I think you know my mom. I was like, I totally know your mom. She was my boss, you know, years ago. But so she came and she had the best time as grandma, but she was like, your space is so nice compared to the closet you were in before, you know? So I agree. Like, and I think for administrators to be like, this is such an inviting space for parents to be. And wouldn't it be nice if we could recreate this space? Because that's what it's not an early childhood classroom. It's a completely different space. But she was just like, oh, it's so nice in here. And she couldn't even sit in there because they set up picture day in the conference room next to mine. And we don't have walls. Like, you know, we have partitions, but no walls. And the flash was giving me a headache. So we had to sit on the floor in the toddler room. So she didn't even get to see, like, enjoy space in there. Yeah, but anyway, she did.
Was that Dr. Leland?
No.
Oh,
it was,
okay.
Yeah, Judy Covert.
Just making sure.
Yep. No, Judy Covert. No, Anne Marie was the coordinator. She was the community ed director. And this Judy Covert was she kind of started ECFE actually in Faribault like 25 years ago. So UG, I posted them on Facebook a little while ago. I don't know, maybe you didn't see that, but I think there was a Facebook post that everybody posted pictures of their rooms, but I might have them in Google Drive. I'll see if I can find that post.
I don't use Facebook, so I didn't see it. And I think, you make me recall, like when one of my professors in the CSP, so when I went to her space, her office, oh God, it was so nice. So, there's a window there. She made the window, like, as like part of, so she made a kind of a couch out of the window step and put some cushions, very nice cushions there. You just want to lie down. I asked her, I said, could you lie down here, rest? Sometimes she said, yes, I can. During lunchtime, I just sometimes just rest here. Just so nice. I think this will be great for us, for parent educators, like have a little bit self-care time.
You know, and I think of, like I put, I was just looking for, there's gotta be like a YouTube on how to make a YouTube of your office. That if, Menafee is, have they talked about being, like, I should know this, but like for the conference in the spring, have they talked about being in person and doing like a hybrid thing? Because because the video, I mean, the nice thing about being online is that you could do that, right? I mean, you could, you know, you could take people on video tours of your space without it being too much of an issue, but yeah. Oh, Ellen, you mean like not thinking about the spring?
No.
Oh,
We're gonna get through Friday and then we'll talk about spring.
oh yeah, no, I just thought if you'd heard anything.
No, I think all of our focus is on getting Friday going and done, and then we'll talk about spring. We haven't even discussed spring yet, except, I mean, the dates are there, but the
Oh, you
committee
mean
hasn't even,
Menafee, oh, you mean because of the regional conference coming up?
right, yes. on
Okay,
Friday.
got it.
Yep.
Got it. I kind of over my head. All right, good.
Hey, thanks for doing that, by the way, the regional conference. That's going to be awesome. And I registered, but I'm going to be out of town.
Mm.
But I registered because I'm hoping I can watch a recording.
Yeah, I think that will be an option.
I assumed it would be. I didn't have the courage to ask because I wasn't ready to hear no. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Ellen, would you like to share more about it?
Looks like
Yeah,
The
what's your
conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a pick and choose, kind of a choose your own adventure thing.
Mhm.
One is gonna be there, so Betty Cook and Betty
Nancy.
Cook and
Nancy Wallace? No.
Nancy, yes.
Shannon,
Nancy
Shannon,
Wallace.
Maybe
Shannon, right?
Shannon. There has been
Yeah.
a group of people redesigning the parent education core curriculum framework. So there's a new modification because it is 11 years old.
Yeah.
It is from
Nikki's doing
2011.
Nikki Murphy's on that too. I think.
Yes, and Nikki's on that. So they're going to be talking about the keynote is about the new the parent ed core curriculum framework. And then after that, there are going to be 2 breakout sessions. One is kind of more for coordinators, talking about data and data literacy, I guess they're calling it. So that'll kind of be more for coordinators. And then after the keynote, they're going to do more work on the core curriculum framework and how to make it work with the early childhood teachers. So that's the second one. And then the last choices, it's a pre-K to 3 alignment panel. And these are panels. Most of them, they're going to be a variety of people talking about what they've done in their communities. And then there's going to be time for questions. So it's more interactive and less like someone talking at you for the whole time. Now my dog is bothering me. And then, and you can do the pre-K to 3 alignment, or you can come listen to me talk about newborn programming in Rice County. So I'll talk about like the history and how we got started, and then a little bit how I structure the class and the curriculum and things like that. Really wanting to get people, I cannot tell you how many times someone messages me asking how we got newborn programming going. And they just can't get it going. So I'm like, you got to start somewhere. And so breaking it down into the littlest bits and make it, getting it so that you can go. So that's it. And it's 4 hours and it's 12 to 4 and you're done.
I don't like having to pick between one of the two though. The
Yeah.
pre-K 3rd alignment and the newborn, it's like, I want to see all of it.
I know. Yeah.
Do you
it was
think that
hard.
would be something where, like Sarah was mentioning, like potentially if you went to one, you would maybe be able to watch the other?
I think if you are registered, you'll be able to watch everything.
So that will be at least helpful to be able
Yep.
to catch up on.
Yep. Yep. So, yep. I'm putting something in the chat too that I can't say out loud. Okay. but I'm not positive. So I can't there. Yeah. Well, there'll be some announcements on recordings and stuff like that for those who are registered. So yeah, it should
I
be fun.
registered
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I registered already and I got the link to the workshop finally today. I registered like a month ago.
Well, and the other thing, Susan, did you get my email the other day?
About your slide set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. It's very
You guys, I'm not I don't make many PowerPoints. If I do a PowerPoint for my class, I'll do like a picture and I'll do a couple bullet points. But I was making my presentation for Menafee and it was so boring and I wanted to cry. So I went online. I was like, Google Slides, backgrounds, whatever. And I just maybe was like going to change the background. Slidesgo.com has downloadable templates that you can download into Google presentations or Google Slides. And it's like the one that I downloaded was all about environment. So it had like preloaded information, but the colors, the charts, the ideas, they're awesome. And I'm so excited about my presentation because it looks like it's so pretty. But if you have to do a presentation for whatever, Slides Go, and it's free. I couldn't believe it. Are you going to share? What I could do that. Yeah.
Yep.
So there it is.
There it is.
So you can, and then if you click on it, so Susan, click on, click on that one that says the bottom
Here.
right. That's all in
This one?
Spanish.
It's
Well, actually, yeah, click on edit. Well, no, click on the
Okay.
bottom right where it says in Spanish, you para docentes, down, go down, down,
Oh.
down. So click on that jungle style pack.
this one. Yep.
Yep. So, and when you go into it, it'll show, and then you can see all the different pages that come with it when you download it to Google Slides. So see at the bottom. So you can pick and choose, but they give you like 30 different, go back up.
Oh.
They give you like 30, see the little thumbnails down at the bottom underneath, like, right? Yeah,
These?
click on those.
Okay.
So each page comes, but like one of my pages had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can put some of my stuff in these but they give you like 35 different pages to choose from. It's amazing. I'm having so much fun, but then you just download the Google templates right there. So you can download it for Google Slides or PowerPoint. And you can join, they have premium plans, but there's so much free stuff. Yeah, who even knows how much it costs, but either way, so cool. And then something else I learned about is Canva. Have any of you been using Canva? Okay, I'm slow and new to Canva. So, but it's like
brand new to me. It's brand new to me, but our new parent educator, she introduced it to me this fall, and she says she uses it for everything social media that she puts.
Yeah. It's colorful, it's bright, it's fun. You can save it and put it right in Seesaw or on Facebook. It's awesome. So 2 new things I've learned about that it takes a lot of the work out, because who wants to make a flyer or a poster? Ugh.
I just had to make one. I now go into Slides and readjust the slide frame to be a piece of paper so that I can do everything I like doing in Slides and then just make it and then print it up. And now it's a poster.
Awesome. I love it.
That helps me because I don't want to go into documents like Word docs and make a poster anymore ever.
Yeah, so let me show you.
Oh, Yuji just posted something too. Slides Carnival.
Oh, yeah, those have really, really good ones too.
Huh.
Usually those are the ones that I've used for the last bit. But they're next Slide Carnival.
So I just used Canva just as an example. So there's my book cover.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And anyway, but I made one, I'll stop sharing. They have templates. This is in Canva and this is all free. And so they have book cover templates and it is so cool. When I was at the university, our building the Family Social Sciences then shares it with the design department. And one of the activities that the design kids did every single semester, so you could expect this, was they had to do book covers as a design thing. And so you would walk into the atrium or into that part of the building, and the halls would just be filled with all these super cool, like For Great Expectations and To Kill a Mockingbird and everything, all these different designs. So Canva has those, but also if you're making cards, if you're making postcards, anything for marketing stuff. I mean, and it's so cool because you really feel like you can do like you too can do graphic design, right? Because you can position, you can spread out letters, you can, spread out the lines between things, and it's all like idiot proof, and you can come up with all these different templates or all these different fonts. So you can, anyway, it's very slick. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, Ellen, because it's very easy to do.
So why did my son just pay for a liberal arts degree in graphic design? Seriously, a four-year degree at Liberal Arts College in Minnesota.
But it's
Hello.
okay, because sometimes the preloaded things are just not, they're just not gonna work. They need to be more specific. It's okay.
Right.
You know,
It's gonna be
Greta,
fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
you
And
know,
if
Greta,
he's
this-
looking, oh, I'm sorry, Yuji, go ahead.
so I said, Greta, all these models slides are designed by your son, people like your son.
That's right.
You know that.
That's right.
I know.
And when he
Oh,
goes
that I
looking
feel.
for a job, they'll hire him because he's actually a graphic artist, as opposed to somebody who puts down in their skills like Word and PowerPoint and Canva,
For that.
but as like a degree in history.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it just makes me feel like obligated to buy the purchasable editions, right? So I can support those graphic designers out there. I don't know. They're figuring it out. My boss just came in and they just had an event, and I thought maybe I'd share with you guys. I know it could be questionable in certain environments and districts, but we got together today, our early childhood program, and they got together with the Grace Point Crossing, which is one of our senior centers that has assisted living and non-assisted living, but it's a whole community. And they did a costume parade over there with them, and they sat down and they made pictures. They had a pumpkin, and then they could decorate it with a dauber, that kind of a thing. And they had 75 kids show up with adults, and it was more than the residents. And I just thought that'd be fun to celebrate. It's, put forth something. It's, I know tricky with the holiday celebrations, festivals, ideas within schools and stuff, but right here, right now, that's what they did. And it was wonderful. It was community. And she said it was beautiful. So anyway, just kind of a light note, even if it's maybe controversial. I don't know how to say this anymore, you guys. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I just wanted to share.
Halloween is in full force in my building.
Okay.
They decorate the doors. We do a costume parade. We let ECFE families wear their costumes. I know we talked about this at length like last year, but it is just so different in every district, isn't it?
No, it really, really is. It really
Yep.
is.
It's like not allowed at all in mine. There's nothing. But the teachers struggle with that as much as the families, a lot of them. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to try to make shifts into doing things differently. My kiddo's school, he's in elementary school, my youngest, they have a fall party. Today's their big fall party. And it's like, there are ways to have these amazing community building celebrations without it having to be super specific to one thing that might make others feel left out. And I think it's actually harder when you have somewhere where 90% of the people do celebrate it, because then that one kid or those two kids feel extra spotlight on them if they don't celebrate the thing that almost everybody else does. So it's a tricky thing, trying to make everyone feel welcome and included.
Mhm.
Well said, Becca. That's true.
Mhm.
I think
I
it's,
saw sorry,
Go
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I saw a different idea that I thought was darling, which was that today there was a parade at school, somebody's school, where the students picked a favorite book character and dressed up as their favorite book character. And then it was like a costume parade, but about reading and literacy rather than, I mean, obviously just like a slide over a slightly different lane,
Mhm.
but everyone
Yeah.
still gets to dress up, which is exciting.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if there was any candy element to it, but
I think a lot of schools are trying to move away from the sweets and candy stuff anyway,
Mhm.
so.
Oh, yeah, it's,
It's tangential, Sarah. It's tangential.
Mhm. That's right.
Right?
we don't do candy anymore. Our district has completely banned birthday treats. So see, we do still do Halloween, but there's no birthday treats at all. Yeah, so they did that a couple years ago. They
Yeah.
just, nope, no treats,
now-
no gifts, nothing.
My 20-year-old, I think when he was in second grade, they were doing some sort of like animal habitat unit. So they could pick the animal that they wanted to dress up with for Halloween, which was adorable. But as a mom, then I had to, because he didn't want that for his regular costume. So then we had to have 2 costumes that year, which was mildly annoying, but not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
My older kids during their spirit week, so a couple weeks ago, I think, the week before MEA week, had one day that was dressed as your favorite fictional character day. So you could twist that to, Lily being Darth Vader or whatever. That kind of thing, which is her Halloween costume.
I find it just that Halloween, especially this idea of a mom in my class today even said, it's so fun to engage them in the magic. And I said, yes, that's what I love about this season. I don't like scary. I don't want to do ghosts. I don't want to do spiders. I don't want to do witches and things like that. But the magic of pretend and dressing up, and it's so developmentally appropriate. And I think that's why I like this one and why it's hard for me to totally give up dressing up somehow, just having fun pretending and, being powerful. This little 2-year-old came in as a dinosaur. She was loving being a dinosaur. And mom goes, I can't believe she picked a dinosaur. But she's like, well, it's a very powerful thing, and it was so fun to talk about that developmentally appropriate experience that she was having. I don't know. There's just some things that get missed.
I know, and the creativity. One of my kids she's gonna be a pink house.
Ah, love it.
I
She's
have
gonna be
a little one who's going to be a water tower.
it is so, and my
Mom has
favorite
been
one.
trying to figure out how to make a water tower costume. The little guy too is obsessed with water towers.
And I mean, when they combine things, I had a kid one year who wanted to be a unicorn police officer.
Is that a police officer that polices unicorns, or a unicorn that is a?
That's what we asked. And he was just like, listen, so it's amazing. So he wore a full footy unicorn costume with the hood, sparkly purple. And then he put a police
Oh,
jacket over the top.
Mhm.
And he was so happy.
Gotta
You
say,
know,
my obnoxious but very intelligent 8-year-old was like, what's up with Halloween anyway? Like the rest of the year, you're telling us not to take candy from strangers, and now we're gonna go dress up and go at night to take candy from strangers. What's up with that? I was like, yep, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what to tell him.
Actually, I'm going to post I always start my class with a cartoon. I'm going to post the cartoon I selected for this week. It's funny because it's very much along that line of what is this? And of course, parents loved it. So hang on, it's going to take me a minute to find it.
I really love
Let's
Greta
stick to
said.
Oh, sorry, you two,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, Becca, when you say like a water tower, I'm thinking maybe we can ask, maybe this child can carry a bucket of water in his belly. So this is water tower that does, right? And also I really love Greta's idea, pretending. I think this is really good teaching opportunity, right? So pretending, I remember like when I taught this the technique, dealing with anger, right? So we pretend we were the turtle, right? We were the turtle, and then we go to our shell, and so I think that is really just like you said, developmentally appropriate, and I think this could be amazing opportunity for parents to teach children something. Maybe it's in the always challenging, and now it's an opportunity. Maybe help the child to pretend something, and through this technique can deal with that.
I think we're looking at your picture, at
We
your.
are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So that brings up the question. So where do you find your graphics? Just anywhere, and then you have a little digital library, or is there a go-to place that you go to for your?
It's just funny stuff that I found over the years. I usually, Facebook, Instagram, I just find them, and then I upload them to a file in Google, and then in my Google file, well, and I can share it with you guys if you really want to, it's not, I'm working on getting it organized, because this was something that I wanted to do, but just hadn't gotten around to. And at the very top of my file, I've got it sorted by seasonal. So I have cartoons by season, icebreakers, some quotes, time fillers, toddlers, and then ones that I've used already this year. So I can share it with you, but like I said, don't judge me. It is unorganized. It's not awesome, but you are more than welcome to make copies as you see fit of the items inside. And some of them are not appropriate, and I want to remake them. Like one of them says, I just need to get my shit together. Me in 2009, me last month, me probably in 2 days. I want to redo that one, because I think so many parents are like, but I need to rewrite it. You know what I mean? So they're in there to remind me to make them, because I think they're funny, but some of them need to be modified. So here's the link. You can play.
Ellen, no one's going to judge you when we're all listening to that going, oh, that's fabulous. So no judgment.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
See, I have a quick question for you guys, being that you're representing several different districts. Do you have in ECFE a guideline given to you whether or not during interaction, what your role is specifically during interaction time? Are you, I know some have said they aren't in the classroom, some are out. Does anyone have anything guiding them that way? Because we don't have anything guiding me to do it, but sometimes I just, sometimes I'm not in the room because there's other stuff that's happened that I need to get taken care of, because something's come up, a new family in the fall. Oftentimes, sometimes one parent has a question, and so then we have to, I want to go help get stuff together so I can give them some resources or things like that. I'm just wondering, is programmatically at a systems level, do you guys get directed, or are you allowed the freedom? Curious. Or do you have a
Awesome question.
Or-
I really like that question. I'm curious what other people have too. I don't think we have a lot of specific direction, other than I know that there's an expectation that I'm there with parents and kids and families for the entire time that they're in the building. So that being said, I have even scooched out during parenting time, when during separation time, I was like, let me make a copy of that. So, I mean, there's always going to be those kind of things where you're running out for a minute, or that I think, just practically, logistically speaking, for me, it doesn't happen every week, but there's often something that calls me away for a few minutes.
I find because I'm quite, I'm not very linear, I'm quite random, and I have several roles and several hats that I wear. It's really easy for me to all of a sudden go, oh yeah, I needed to get that off to this person about that for screening, or I need to go get, whatever. So I sometimes I have to pull myself back in, but that also means on screening day, sometimes I'm doing ECFE stuff. So I just played my cards here. There we are. That's me. But I still want to go back to the question. I'd love to hear from Sarah and Carissa. Ellen.
Nothing formal. I think there's a wide range of reasonable. I think what else was I going to say? In terms of teaming with that early childhood educator, I think that's the main thing. Like there needs to be clarity between you as to whether and how often it's cool for you to step away, because they're not as free to do that, right? And that feels a little like there could be a point of tension there, like, oh, she's always, running off to do, like,
That's true.
so, and we, in my school, we have paid time before every class to sit together and talk about last week and make a plan for goals for this week for families. So sometimes it's very light and it's clear, like I can pop away and use the bathroom or, like whatever. Other times we have like a list of people to talk to or things to observe during parent-child time that would mean it's really important for me to be around, or to support the early childhood educator if she needs to go, like take somebody down to hearing or, that kind of thing. Because we're the licensed people in the room. So.
Thank you. That's helpful. It's insightful too. I like that idea. How long do they give you to plan beforehand?
I think it's 10 before and 10 after is what we're paid for. But it's often more.
Oh, yeah.
We have, since COVID, we changed our entrance. And so now I have to be at the door to welcome and give out security tags to parents. So I'm there, 5 to 10 minutes before, 5 to 10 minutes after.
Oh.
It's just interrupted what I do normally,
Yeah.
I've done in the past. So that would be lovely. We'd have to figure out a different time, but I'm gonna make note of it to think about here.
And Greta, same for us. I know I was just doing some searching. I know we have a roles and responsibilities that I was trying to find it, but I'm not, if I find it, I'll send it to you. But again, wide range of reasonable. I try never to leave during parent-child time. And if I do have to leave, like make a copy or whatever, for like a parent brought something in, I make it really fast, or I just wait until circle time and then I go. So I really try not to be gone. Except I will like buzz out to use the bathroom for the toddler class. Like, okay, like, and my early childhood teacher and I, we go like this, and then like she'll go, and then when she comes back, then I go, and then we're ready. But then after I help our EA get snack together, then I go to my room and I get myself ready so that I am in the space when they come in. I'm not, usually I'm like, oh, I forgot to get this off the copier and all this, and so it just gives me a moment to just get in my chair and get ready so that when they come into the parent ed room, it's calm and quiet. But yeah.
Thank
And
you.
then if we have kiddos who are really struggling staying in circle, it's my job to guide them back. And, and as the session goes on, that becomes less of an issue. But I try to stay there to guide that, but I probably leave with 5 minutes left of circle time.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Or
interesting. One.
non-separate.
I've never thought of doing that. I always just go to the room with the parents. Like it's an interesting idea to get there ahead of them and sort of be waiting for them, because I don't do that. And we don't have any sort of guidelines. I do try to stay. And this, I think I've mentioned a couple times, is last year was the first year I'd always been together, whole class, parent-child time, separation time, all of it. And this last year I started having a couple classes, and I have a couple, well, more than a couple this year, where I'm only doing the parent time. So then I'll quick go to the classroom, gather everybody up, and then we come back to the parent room together. But it's made me realize, like I knew how important being there for parent-child time is, but it's really made me realize, and I'm probably less willing to pop out for random things, unless I'm gonna pee my pants or something. But now, just because it makes a big difference being there during that time.
I think having been involved for a lot of years, let's just put it in that vernacular, before our beautiful green book, before this was done. And it was really a delineation of roles, and the intersection of interaction time wasn't necessarily what we see it as today. It was not necessarily the time for the parent educator. The parent educator that was their time, because there's limited time to prep to go get ready and do the research and do your lessons, doing all that stuff during that time. So this has really changed the focus of that time, even though the opportunity was always there to learn about families and watch the interactions and bring that to parent ed. It was always there, but we just didn't recognize it, I don't think, until we started doing this collaborative teaching in the co-teaching with your early childhood teacher. So it's fascinating to see the evolution of it. And it's good to hear all of I love hearing, kind of like would love to see those environments that you talked about at the beginning. Yeah, I would really I'd love that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So thank you for that moment. Appreciate it.
Great conversation, everybody. Thank you. As I noted, and I won't be here next week, but, and we still haven't quite figured out how to make anyway, the problem with Zoom is I can't, from my UMN account, that gives us the luxury of endless time. I can't add people outside the university. So if any of you still have your UMN accounts and you log in that way. But anyway, so we won't be able to record it unless you can figure out a way to do that. So, but anyway, but still the link will be open and I will miss you all and be back the week after that. So
Yeah.
happy holiday for those of you who celebrate the holiday.
So Susan, where are you going? I missed the first part of the meeting. So where are you going?
It's a personal thing. Like I'm just,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm going on a meditation retreat in Wisconsin.
Oh,
But-
awesome.
Yeah. So I'll be gone from Thursday to Sunday. So it'll be a nice blissful 4 days without technology.
Wonderful.
Yes. So
All
anyway,
right, guys. See you maybe at Menafee.
yes. Oh, yes. Ellen, good luck with your thing. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for all the wonderful resources as always. That's fabulous.
Awesome.
And that's next week at this time?
Yep.
Oh, well, maybe.
12 to 4.
Oh, well, it could be that there's no meeting anyway, right?
It could be that no one is here.
Yeah, that's right.
So it shouldn't be. They
Yeah.
should be
If they are, they should be
They should be-
over there.
getting over there.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna be on the blacklist after?
Yeah.
Here.
These- over there, they can get a CEU. There's no CEUs here, everybody. Get over
That's right.
there. Yeah.
Over. All right.
All right. I'll see y'all
Thanks,
sometime.
everybody.
We'll
Bye-bye.
see you in a couple weeks then. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
And that's